We just watched one of the greatest comebacks in Eagles franchise history. The Eagles are 3-0. Good morning, Hugh. How we doing?
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Philadelphia. Hey, you know what today is, man? Today is the day that all reckless speculation will be had.
Okay.
We're going to recklessly speculate today because there is no way on God's green earth that you could tell me that Kevin Patullo was calling plays in the second half. Mm-hmm. You can't tell. Like, I don't care what anybody says, and it's not no disrespect. Right off the bat, I'm telling you, he wasn't calling plays in the second half. All those people that said last week that they were playing possum,
oh, jeez,
your conspiracy theories are welcome here this morning.
Why are you doing this?
I'm being honest. You cannot sit here.
Yep.
You cannot tell me. I've been in games in halftime, and I've seen halftime adjustments. That was not a halftime adjustment, Joe. That was a full-fledged other game plan.
Well, it's different offense in the second half.
That was a different game plan. You cannot tell me that Kevin Patullo was calling plays in the second half. And if he was, then those folks that said he was playing possum, this team was playing possum, call today because you have space here.
Well, here's what I know. And Hugh Douglas is starting off with the reckless speculation.
Recklessly speculating.
I don't know who the hell was calling the plays in the second half.
Patullo.
But I like the way they looked in the second half because they were awesome. All right, we got a lot of credit to give out today. We got a lot of celebration today. Your emotion as you watch one of the great comebacks. I mean, really, in the franchise history. That's the best.
That's tops, man. Woo! That might beat Miracle in the Meadowlands.
It's the
number
biggest,
1 and 2.
It's the biggest one since the Deshaun punt return game when they beat the Giants in 2010. That was ridiculous yesterday. I mean, if you had concern on how the offense looked the first couple weeks, and you were like a lot of us that said, boy, they got to be better. This isn't sustainable. This is the best team they're going to face. All of that, it all came home in the first half because it was like, holy hell. And if it wasn't for the Rams settling for field goals, the game might have been out of reach.
Yeah.
They credit the Eagles defense. They buckled down a little bit. They kept it manageable. But then the second half starts and Jalen gets popped. The ball pops out. Rams score an easy touchdown. It's 26-7. You're like, oh, no, this is going to be a disaster. And then from there, both the offense and the defense took off. Hugh, in the second half, after the fumble, after they were down 26-7, Jalen Hurts, when he had to throw, no choice, 17 of 24, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. One of the most impressive games of his career. And I include big games and postseason games. That was one of the most impressive performances of Jalen Hurts' career. He was outstanding yesterday when he needed to be. And then the defense, I mean, we can call that the Jordan Davis game. My goodness gracious. Jordan Davis, he looked yesterday, and we talked on the pregame show, like finally looking like that first-round pick. He looked like the best defensive player we had in the field yesterday. He stopped a 4th down all by himself. He chased Stafford down in a 3rd and 2 to force a punt. And then, obviously, the block of the field goal and the return, all-time kind of stuff yesterday. 215-592-9494. What a win. What a football team. And we even have some conspiracy theories from you.
I don't care what nobody say, man. He wasn't calling that game in the second half. Somebody said, Kevin, sit your ass down.
Yep.
We got this.
Yep.
We got this.
Well, who's calling the plays then?
I don't know.
Didn't sound like Nick Sirianni. He didn't want to get credit for it.
I don't know. I think what happened.
Jalen himself?
Maybe.
The Sky Marshal, as some callers called him on Friday? Calling the plays himself?
Maybe.
Yep.
You know, I got to talk to some folks. I had a chance to talk to some folks that are smarter than me, especially when it comes to that offensive side of the ball, man. And you know, they're like, hey, they were in up-tempo quite a bit. And, you know, when you're in up-tempo, it's kind of on the quarterback.
Well, yeah. I mean, some people here last week said Jalen should air it out more. Jalen should throw the football.
Oh, so you taking credit for that?
I'm just saying. I wanted him to throw.
You said take more chances. You did say that.
He did take chances.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not denying that. You said it.
Listen, Jalen Hurts played a whale of a game, and I'm glad they took – what did he call it last year? The straitjacket, the governor?
Yeah, the governor. Take the governor off.
Look, the score, they were down so much they had to throw the football in the second half, but I'm glad the first half – not only did they not play well, right? They had the injury to Lane, and then Matt Pryor comes in, and he was a turnstile. And then finally they put Fred Johnson in.
Everybody took a turn.
Everybody took a turn, unfortunately. And Jalen was getting popped because of it. And then they got Fred Johnson, and things settled down. But Hughes, the first half wasn't just bad. They also seemed very conservative. Like you mentioned it when we walked in and we were talking to Seth. They had a few 3rd and longs where, all right, you're backed up, you're kind of in trouble, but you could take a shot to one of your receivers, try to get a first down.
That 3rd and 15.
The draw,
Yeah, that bothered me.
Of course it bothered you.
Because you didn't have, like, I understand we're getting ready for the half.
Yep.
But you're down, and, you know, that's just, if there was any time to take a shot, I would think that would be it. They decided not to. that kind of bothered me a little bit. And then when you talk about the way that they came out in the second half, it looked like it was going to be more of what it was. And then, to me, you cannot convince me that somebody say, hey, you know what? We about to freestyle this thing.
Well, you know what? It worked. And maybe if you're telling me who I have to trust to call the plays, is it the players themselves? Is it Patullo? I'll trust the players. I mean, those guys.
Oh, yeah, AJ looks healthy, too.
Yeah, and he looked good. How about the mock cheer when he got his first pass? Yesterday was wild, like an all-timer. When they walked off the field at halftime and they were booed, they earned it. They had 33 yards in the first half.
Yes, they did.
And then they went out there in the second half and they cooked one of the better teams in the NFC. 215-592-9494. All right. I mean, Hugh Douglas led us here. Let's just go full conspiracy theory as we react to an incredible and it's really an all-time Eagles victory yesterday over the Los Angeles Rams. Sirianni, after the game, talking about the staff finding things that work. Here's Sirianni on what changed in the second half.
Jalen seemed very vocal. There was a lot of communication going on. How impressive was the collaboration with Jalen, Kevin Patullo, yourself, collaborating, communicating about finding the stuff that's working and getting to the what's working?
Yeah, obviously, in those scenarios, I'm not going to take any credit for that. Jalen, Kevin, and the offensive staff did a great job of finding things that worked and got us out of the rut that we were in. Any communication with the quarterback is going to be critical. He's the one who's going to give you confidence to, call the things that you need to call. Good question for Kevin, because obviously I'm doing things there. I can't take any credit in that. Those guys did a great job of adjusting and finding the right things to do in that scenario.
All right, so he gives credit to Patullo, Jalen, finding things, credit. I mean, when you hear that, does it add more credence to your theory that someone else is calling those plays?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it also, in my reckless speculation, because that's what I'm doing, you go out of your way to heap praise on Patullo, in a game where in the first half it didn't look right. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to be kind.
Right.
Because I'm already recklessly
speculating.
It looked like
crap. I mean,
I'm being kind.
They had 33 yards.
I'm being kind.
No, be kind. 33 yards.
No, I'm being kind.
It was bad.
I'm being kind. It didn't look good.
It was bad.
It didn't look good.
They got booed off the field. I mean, let's call it what it is.
It didn't look good.
Yeah.
So you come in the second half. And then before the half, the 3rd and 15 really burned my biscuits. Like, I didn't understand that.
Yeah. Because
you're down, and everybody and their mama knows you need to throw the ball. You lined up in shotgun and handed it off to the running back. 3rd and 15, not 4th.
It was a give-up play.
Yeah.
It was conceded.
Not 4th
Yep.
and 15, 3rd and 15. And you had a couple screen plays that you were out there running. It looked disjointed. And somebody said, I don't know who, you know what? Sit your ass down. I got this. Somebody took the reins of the wheel. Like you like to say, Jalen was in the back seat. Jalen jumped in the front seat and took the reins of the wheel, if that's the case, and changed this thing.
Well, good.
You cannot tell me that Kevin Patullo was calling plays in the second half. I don't believe it.
Conspiracy Douglas has arrived. All right, before we go any further, what was your feeling when the Rams lined up for the field goal? Like, because I know some people out there are like, I knew he was going to miss. It was our day. It was our comeback. What did you feel, Hugh, as you watched the Cardi, line up for the field goal to try to win the game? Did you feel like something good was going to happen, or did you feel like, oh, my goodness, this all was for nothing because we're still going to lose this dumb game?
I looked at it like, when they were up 26 points, I was like, I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking to myself, time is not on your side, right? Initially. And then when they line up for field goal, I was like, yeah, I thought this is kind of how it was going to – I thought it was going to play out was, you were going to get close, valiant effort, but you're not – yeah. And to see that, man, I was just like, wow. And to hear, because I heard it, Merrill went bananas.
It was unbelievable.
That was old school Merrill right there, man. That was old school Merrill.
Merrill will join us coming up at 11. We'll have the Merrill montage. Yeah, I thought he was going to make the kick. I mean, when they got that close, I was like, this isn't that long of a field goal, and this is going to be one of those we look for the positives, but they still lost the game. And then Jordan Davis does what he does and then returns it back. What a moment. Let's hear Jalen Hurts after the game talking about he knew that Jordan or someone up there was going to make a play on that field goal.
We did not quit. Nobody gave up, and in competitive sports, that's what it's about. And I'm very proud of that. I'm not proud of how we started the game. I'm not proud of the flow in which we played, the execution and the focus that we had earlier in the game. But I am proud of everybody not giving up and everybody being determined to find a way to win the game. And there wasn't a doubt in my mind that someone was going to make a play on that field goal, especially looking at those two Georgia guys lined up next to each other. And, win, lose, or draw, we were going to look back and be very critical of ourselves, and that's what we would be.
What a play. And what a day for Jordan Davis. By the way, I think he could win Defensive Player of the Week and Special Teams Player of the Week. That was an enormous play by Jordan Davis and Howie Roseman. Credit for him picking up that fifth-year option. This kid is getting better here in his fourth year in the NFL. All right, let's hear Greg Olsen, then right to your phone calls coming up here. Greg Olsen called that game with Joe Davis on Fox, and I thought he framed the end perfectly on this football team and what they are right now.
We sat here in these exact seats about 3 hours ago, and we said, while not pretty, while not always perfect, they are the hardest beat in football. And I think today was another perfect example. The difference on offense between the first and the second half was jarring.
Yeah.
Like, that second half style, putting the ball in Jalen Hurts, throwing the ball downfield, challenging them with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, that's what Philly is. That's what they're capable of. And then they always seem to get the stop they need. And then, of course, back-to-back field goal attempts blocked by the big man the second time, Jordan Davis, who takes it back for 6. Like, you talk about finding ways to win. I don't know if it exists at any better level than that.
Finding ways to win. I don't know if it exists at any better level than that. That's the Eagles over the last year. What a football team. What a game. Let's react. 215-592-9494. What was the emotion after that one? Shocked, relief, excitement? Kyle, what were you feeling as the Eagles go to 3-0 in one of the craziest games I can ever remember?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm hungover after watching that game.
I need to lie down.
Yeah, and especially now with Hugh coming on here talking crazy right off the jump.
The week has begun.
We're off and rolling. I mean, considering that I basically put this in as a lock that the Eagles are going to lose Friday, I'm floored they were able to pull that out, especially considering how they went down. And, I mean, look, for all the talk about they just find ways to win and the stuff about how we talk all the time about whether or not if this team goes down in that way, do they have the ability to crawl back in a game? I know we had a conversation a few weeks ago when we saw Josh Allen and Lamar going back and forth. We're like, would the Eagles be able to win that game? And we were like, no, of course not. They did. I mean, so everybody who yells at us about what Jalen's able to do when he needs to, and about the Eagles just finding ways to win, and they're just 2-0, and all they do is win. I mean, hell, have at it today. Like, that was one of those games where I come out of it, and I'm like, man, like, are they really just like those Chiefs teams of the past few years? Like, the Eagles feel like they have now taken the mantle of that team. That, like, how the hell are you going to beat them? If they don't lose that game, I can't, like, go in. I'm done doubting them going into any game, I think, at this point. I think I'm going to completely jump over to the other side and move off of that. Like, I just have to respect the fact that the Eagles, Hurts, the defense, whatever, like they just find ways. And
he's different.
It was one of the most incredible games I know we have the Super Bowl and stuff. This, to me, was a more impressive game by Jalen Hurts than the Super Bowl. I mean, it's one of the most impressive games I've ever seen him play. Well, it was awesome.
The second half, he needed to score on basically every possession. I mean, they needed touchdowns, and even with the defense kind of holding the fort, they couldn't give the ball back. They couldn't give the Rams a short. They didn't do any of that. After the fumble to start the second half, it was as good as he played in a long time. 215-592-9494. And there was extra impressiveness to it yesterday because they were down. Right, they're not up a score, up 2 scores where it's like, let's just pile on at the end. No, they needed Jalen Hurts to carry them offensively in the second half. No running game whatsoever. And he was awesome yesterday. And the defense made so many plays in the second half. And the special teams, they won a game yesterday.